That's the big thing.
7:59, 1410 WRMN. It's time for Fridays with the Fuzz. We are Facebooking Live. Thanks for watching on Facebook Live. And we got a good show planned for today, and a special guest we've been pumping up for a couple of weeks now. We're led by the Chief. Chief Swoboda is here with us this morning. Hey Chief, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing fine. I know it's been a tough week, and we got a lot to get to later on today in the 1 o'clock hour. We're going to try to keep it positive in this half hour, but I know you want to touch on some things, and then we're going to get into it, right?
Yeah, so I will be back at the 1 o'clock, and we'll talk about everything that's happened this past week. The death of Cynthia Clements and the process of that going forward and what our timeline is, and working with the state police. There's a lot of questions out there, so I really do want to talk about that. This morning, we have the Boys and Girls Club here with Cathy, Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club, and the Youth of the Year, Xavier, is with me as well. So good morning to you two.
Oh, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We are so happy to have you. And Mark, when I went to the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year event, and then after you won, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to get Xavier on. And then I heard Mark then not too long after that saying, oh, we got to get him on. So don't try and steal my guest. I'm getting Xavier first.
Right as soon as I mentioned that, he sent me a text and said, no, I already booked it. Sorry, I already booked it.
So Xavier, you're getting, well, first of all, maybe we'll just start, like, who are you? Where are you from, and kind of what's your story? We won't do, he's going to do a speech in a little while, but we're first just kind of do some, just some discussion. What's happening?
Well, I was born and raised in Elgin, and I go to Central High School.
Central High School. Who's your officer over there?
Shriner. How you doing, Shriner?
I remember one of the events we had with the kid. We had the youth event that you helped us with, so we could have a youth advisory committee, how the police can better engage the youth, and you were there. And I remember you were very positive on Officer Shriner.
Yeah.
She's good.
She's my favorite.
She's your favorite?
Yeah.
Aww.
All right, very good. So you're from Elgin, and you go to Central High School, and a member of the Boys and Girls Club for a number of years.
Yeah, like 7 years.
About 7 years.
Yeah.
All right, and then Cathy, what's going on?
Good morning.
You've been on here before.
It's so great to be on here with you again. Yes, I'm super excited to be here, and so thrilled to be able to work with Xavier. And he's just such a great kid. He's just so full of positive energy, and he really lights up the club the minute he walks in. You know when he's there. It's nice to see how he's grown over the years.
Thank you.
Isn't it nice to hear people give you compliments in front of you?
It's always nice to hear compliments.
Yes. And I got to tell you, when that night too, everyone was blown away just with Xavier's energy and everything. And as we're doing the Youth of the Year, Cathy, I know I have my favorite times of the year. I like to be the police chief. Is the Youth of the Year one of your favorite times?
By far.
Yeah, why is that?
By far. Before the event, we have a competition, and so we had 7 kids competing for Youth of the Year title, 4 middle school kids and 3 high school kids. And we had 7 judges, and each member got up and did a 3-minute speech, and then they go through an interview process, which is about 15 to 20 minutes long. And you cannot help but sit in that room and feel so proud of these kids and the things that they've overcome in their life and the challenges that they've had and the guts that they have to stand up in front of these judges and tell them their life story and how they've overcome it is just incredibly inspirational. It's honestly, that's probably my favorite night, and then the second would be the event when you get to make the announcement to the public.
And then third is coming on Friday with the Fuzz.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're becoming a part of Fuzz Nation.
Fuzz Nation, yes.
Love it.
She's out there with it. And so, yeah, we're going to get into all the things that deal with the Youth of the Year. And a couple things I just want to hit on here real quick is, again, we're going to have that timeline. I don't want to look like we're overshadowing what occurred. You know, the tragic night, Monday morning, involving again the death of Cynthia Clements and how we led up to that. And there's an investigation right now going on by the state police. There's been gatherings every day since out in front of the police department, and we've been a part of it in the police department, opening up our doors and making sure the community knows that we're here as well, and we're waiting on the state police to give us the answers as well. And you know, as part of this, there were some of the gatherings and some of the news coverage that was out there at times made it look like it was a hostile event and things, you know, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, there were tough questions as me as the chief, and we were going back and forth, and it was what needs to happen sometimes. You know, people are upset and they want answers, and It was actually nice to hear. Channel one of the news coverage was out there. I've never seen a chief of police walk into a crowd and actually answer questions like that. And I said, that's what we are. That this is my community as well. And so we all want answers. We all want the same thing. We want to get to justice and see what happened. But the way it's all set up is when there's a use of force that results in death like this, it's investigated by another agency. So the state police is in charge, which means I'm not. They talk to my officers. I have no idea what my officers said. So we just need to wait for that. But there's going to be a timeline coming out this week, so we can say when we're going to be able to release more information and some videotapes and things like that. So people will get the answers that they're looking for. Hopefully, there'll be all of the answers down the road a little bit, but we'll slowly start getting more information out. And I know we're going to talk about that at 1 o'clock, but I by no means want to think we're just skipping over that right now.
Yeah, well, we've had this plan for a while, and this is a good thing, and so I want to make sure we have that platform available for listeners to call in, either with support, questions, comments, whatever they might have. Maybe those who haven't gone down to the police station but have wanted to ask you something, and maybe you can't answer it, but at least they'll get their chance. And we'll try to do that, and Larry Jones will be here, and we'll do that between like 1:15 and 2 o'clock today.
So today, between 1:15 and 2 o'clock, we'll put it back out on our Facebook page, and we'll talk about all those things. But yes, if anybody wants to stop down, we're outside the police department too. I know there's an event scheduled for Sunday as well, and like I said, we're right there every step of the way. So sometimes you look at that coverage and it looks like, there's some negative things going on. It's a back and forth, and it's not. We're all in this together. This is our community, and I'll be right there every step of the way with the community. So, anything you want to hit on that before? I don't want to again just kind of brush over. You want to wait till the 1:15?
Yeah, I think I'll just save it, and I'll get what I want to ask you already, and we'll just try to cover it all at that point.
Sounds good. And then, not lastly, but the Coffee with a Cop yesterday was very well attended. Anna was out there, and a lot of people showed up. We got that IF project coming up, which we'll have in the coming weeks, where kind of talks about incarceration and if something different could have happened, how could somebody's lives have changed. It's a very interesting program that's going to be coming out with the police department. But then, most importantly, with these last couple things, Larkin High basketball.
Yeah.
Was able to see them send off yesterday. I was at their pep rally. There were a few of us out there, and it was very exciting. So these young men are going to go down there and do us proud. So we're excited for Larkin High basketball.
Isn't it interesting that the team they're playing is nicknamed the Maroons? That's not our Maroons. It's Belleville West. It's the hated Maroons from Belleville West. So, but Larkin's never been this far before. They've made it to the Final 8 like 4 different times, and the first time they've ever made it to the Final 4. And Elgin has not been represented in the state finals in 20 years, I was just reading. So
wow.
Maybe they can bring some good news to Elgin when we need it right now.
Yes, absolutely. So we're very proud of Larkin High, and I know the students, I think they have an early release today, so they can go down, and if some of them are going to go down and try and catch the game. So we'll all be watching and rooting for Larkin High from afar. But back to the Youth of the Year, Xavier. So when you got the word you won Youth of the Year, what were your first thoughts?
Wow. No. My first thoughts was, wow, this is amazing. This is going to be a lot of opportunities that I can take in my life to help further me and my career and what I want to do. And it's just an experience that not everyone can get. And I feel happy that I was able to achieve this.
What do you think? Should we have him do his speech right now?
Sure.
We're gonna kind of here's what won him the speech or what won him the Youth of the Year, but part of it, because I know it's a whole process.
Okay.
So he's going to be delivering this at many different occasions, and we thought, why not do it live for Fuzz Nation?
Well, because if we can do it now, the rest of the time it's going to be a piece of cake.
You ready, Xavier? You good with it?
I'm always ready.
All right, I like it. I like his attitude. Okay, it's on you, Xavier. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the minute you think of giving up, stop yourself and think about the reason why you've held on for so long. My name is Xavier Hare, and I go to Central High School. And every time life pushes me down, I remember why I continue to fight. I will not let obstacles in my life define who I am. Ever since I can remember, life was hard. When I was young, I lived with my mom and my younger brother, and there were many guys that would come and go out of our lives. But among the worst was a man who went by the name Blue. He would relentlessly beat all of us. As a young child, I remember standing by, watching this man manipulate my mom as he got her addicted to all types of drugs. The drug problem spiraled out of control, and the state took me away. I became a warden of the state until my grandmother adopted me. When I was 11 years old, my mom died from a drug overdose, and my father went to jail for armed robbery. To escape the drama in my life, my mom enrolled me in the club when I was 8. I was really struggling at school because I never went. No one ever made me go. Not going to school put me way behind everyone else my age. I couldn't even read the most basic of books. One of the staff members at the club noticed that I was struggling and began working with me. She devoted time to teach me how to read, and after about a month, I read my very first book by myself. The club gave me stability in a world that sometimes seemed to spiral out of control. During some of these toughest years, I stopped coming to the club because I didn't think that I needed it until one day in 8th grade at Elgin Middle School. I was walking by the auditorium, and I remember seeing all the Boys and Girls Club members hanging out and having fun. They were laughing. I wanted to be laughing with them. At the time of my life, I was feeling especially isolated. I rejoined the club and soon became part of my second family. I came to the club as often as I could because it made me feel good. At the club, I made friends. I started to become more and more involved through drama, Passport to Manhood, junior staff, and STOMP group. I was finally part of something that allowed me to shine for the rest of my life. I continued to be a member all through high school. Now as a senior, being part of the club is less about what it gives me and more about what I can contribute to others. I want to give back. I want to change lives like the club has helped change mine. At the club, I feel famous, and everyone knows me, and I'm often seen wearing a big smile. Giving tours and telling people about my club makes me happy. I could go down the same path as my parents, but I will not. I have big plans for my future. After I graduate high school in May on time, I'm going to college to major in art, network communication, and business. Someday I'm going to open my own nonprofit. Right now, I call it the Big Foundation, because it will be a big home for all youth who need a place to live who are not safe. I imagine creating homes like this all over America. The reason why I hold on, because I know there's a better life out there for me. And I'm going to continue to forge a great future to give back to the kids who need me. I know that if my mom was here today, she'd be very proud of the man that I have become. Thank you.
Wow.
All right.
Not just Youth of the Year, maybe Youth of the Decade.
I wouldn't say that far.
Well done. But I mean, even just reading this live on the radio is cool. I mean, the words themselves are just truly, inspiring.
Thank you. Thank
For
you.
sure. And the lady named Sue on our Facebook Live chat room just said thank you for sharing the story.
Oh,
So,
thank you, Sue.
yeah.
So let's go. So he wrote that, and there are many other stories. I mean, he won this, but like you said, there are multiple people who put in and did the same thing, and also very amazing stories. And then you have to pick one. And so what's the process for Xavier now? Like, I know he gets to compete even further. What's the next step?
So April 17th and 18th, Xavier will be going to Oak Brook to compete in the State Illinois Youth of the Year competition. There's 26 Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the state of Illinois. They all have a representative there, and he'll go in front of statewide judges and basically go through the same process that he does locally with other clubs. Now, the interesting thing about state is that they have to have their speech completely memorized, and it has to be under 3 minutes, and you do it in front of all your peers. So all the people that are there, all the kids that are there, get to hear each other's speeches. So it's pretty nerve-wracking, but I know Xavier's going to do amazing.
Well, I can't wait, because the best part is hearing the speeches and hearing everyone else's stories and the struggles that they have went through and perceived through. So I can't wait to hear them either.
To hear all of those is amazing.
Yeah.
But then also to know that many of those stories wouldn't be told without the Boys and Girls Club. And so how does that make you feel to know that who knows where this story would have been without the Boys and Girls Club?
Well, honestly, I think Boys and Girls Club is more than a job to me. I have a child who was impacted by the Boys and Girls Club when he was young, and so it's always been much more than a job to me. But sometimes day in and day out, you forget about the impact that you're actually making. And so every year when we can be, I would say, even rejuvenated by the stories that we hear, and sometimes we don't know the impact that we're making until they start talking to us about these stories. One of the hardest things we do is pick a winner. I mean, the three guys that competed this year were absolutely amazing. They're all super good friends. And before we told them who won, we sat them all down at a table together, and it's definitely the hardest part. I tried to delegate it to somebody else, but I was like, no, okay, I'll do it. But we showed them a video from the Boys and Girls Clubs of America Youth of the Year 2011 competition, and there were five people that went on to national. And this video really highlights the relationship that they have with each other. And I think that's one of the most important things to know, that these three high school kids represent the 2,500 kids that we serve on an annual basis. And of all of those kids, these three are here representing all of them. And so there's a lot of pride between all three of them that they're their voice.
Also, we told each other that no matter who won, we were still going to remain best friends. And I'm surprised that I won, but I feel like they were just as capable as I am. It was just a matter of luck. That's all I feel.
Right. Well, you know, and it's cool to have that perspective that no matter who ends up quote unquote winning, we're all going to continue to support each other and be friends, and there's a lot that comes with it, and I want to get to that in a second. But before I do, I want to remind the listeners they're listening to Friday with the Fuzz. It is 8:15 in the morning. I'm Jeff Swoboda, your police chief. I'm joined with Cathy, executive director of the Boys and Girls Club, and Xavier, the Youth of the Year, and also Central High School, and Marky B. So, what is, besides just being able to get to tell his story and all those things that are going on, there was a real surprise this year as far as what the winner got that you didn't know about that night, did you, or did you already know?
I didn't know.
Yeah, we told the kids. We
So,
told the kids ahead of time.
Why don't you tell Xavier, what did you win?
4-year tuition to Judson University, averaging over $112,000.
Wow.
Think about that. He just got a full ride to Judson University right here in Elgin. I mean, that says so much about Judson stepping up and doing that. That's amazing. 4 years, over $112,000.
Yeah,
Wow.
we saw so many of the kids as they have won Youth of the Year title over the last couple of years. We saw them really struggling to be able to take that next step into college for whatever reason. And so we started thinking about what can we do to help them overcome some of those challenges. And that's when we started discussions with Judson University, and honestly, Dr. Kroom, he was just like, absolutely. You know, he was just right. He was right there, and him and his team have done an amazing job helping us walk through that process and get it all set up. And we're so honored that now every Youth of the Year from here on out is going to have that opportunity.
And then it's also great. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, Dr. Kroom is just an unbelievable guy. But then also the people they're going to be putting out in the world. So it's almost a nice way for them to have a pipeline of just, I mean, Xavier's one of those kids going to change the world. I mean, so to know that there'll be a Judson graduate then too as well, that speaks volumes for Judson. So what are you going to major in? What's the plan? I know you're not even there yet, but what do you want to do?
Well, right now the plan is to major in business, minor in art, because I want to open my own nonprofit one day for kids who have nowhere else to go or no family. And I'm going to need a little bit of business experience. And later in life, I want to get network communication. And a minor in art. I love art. Just do that on the side because art is amazing.
Yes, art's amazing. It's sometimes hard to make a living at, probably, right? It's depending on how it goes, unless you're really good. So having it as a minor is a good idea. And we're talking about having you come down and maybe do some painting at the police station, right? I mean, that's one of our plans. And you've got some other things that are out there. You're doing some artwork for, right, around town? Yeah,
I'm doing some artwork for my new job at Legit Dogs and Ice.
Nice. And so you're going to go there. You want to open up this business, and you talked about somebody having a nonprofit for kids who have no place to go. What does that look like in your mind, and why did you pick that?
Well, how I imagine it would be for kids who don't have a family or are currently in the foster care system, who are underprivileged and don't have the same, education and the same materials that lots of us are given in life. I want to open up a campus with dorms, a school, a recreational hall, everything, where they can live on campus with the workers. They will get a free education. I will help them with jobs after school, help them with college, and I would just want to show them the world and show them the same opportunities that I had. And I was underprivileged. I was part of DPHS. I was a board of the state. Now, luckily my grandmother adopted me, but it's not the same for all kids. Not everyone is as lucky as I am. Not everyone can have like the food next day, and not everyone can have the new shoes or have the new clothes or have anything at all. And I just want to give them something, share the love, and just share what I have. Anything I can get, I want them to have it too.
I mean, Xavier, you are just amazing. I mean, I know when I was a senior, I think the last thing I was thinking about was anybody else but me. I mean, like seniors can just be, and kids in high school can sometimes be a little selfish and think about themselves. So it's a long time ago, but the way I remember. But the fact that that's first, front and foremost on your mind, that what you want to do already, that you want to help kids and start this. I mean, that as a senior, you're already planning that. I mean, you are just inspiring.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, Kathy, how people are listening to this, and then they hear the Boys and Girls Club, and they think, oh wow, okay, what is it? A place kids can go have open gym and not get in trouble, and it is part of it to have a safe place for kids to go, but it's a much more than that. And so people want to. I always tell people, if you want to get involved with a system or an entity that's actually really, I believe, saving lives, because just our reduction in crime and all the things we're doing as a police department in a community. A big part of that, the social service agencies, but especially the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, you guys are truly, I believe, saving lives. And so how does somebody get involved? Because if they say, I want to be part of something that's making a difference, the Boys and Girls Club's doing that. What are some of the things they can do, just the average listener? I mean, obviously I'll throw it out there for you so it doesn't be awkward. I mean, you're always looking for funding, so that's one of the things. People can donate. But what else can they do to get involved?
So with that, membership is kept super low for kids. So our teens pay nothing to come to the club. We're open every day, Monday through Friday, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. during the school year. So we offer a hot meal and help with homework and several programs that help them. And then our elementary is $25 a year. So we keep costs super low so that we can make sure everyone can afford to come. We have been on a waiting list at the Boys and Girls Club for a long time. It's our goal this fall to go from serving 500 kids a day to 1,000 kids a day. So for the first time ever, we're going to be doubling the number of kids that we serve. We're going to be opening some new sites in some schools. U46 has been an amazing partner for us. I'm so happy to have their support and be able to help them with academic success and learning. As Xavier said, they helped him early on with learning to read, and that's a huge initiative for us. And so, yes, if they want to be involved, we always need people to come in and work with our kids, whether it's reading or doing art programs with them. Really, the foundation of it all is all about relationships. Mm-hmm. And so anybody that wants to come in and build a relationship with a child, I guarantee you will not leave without getting hugs and high fives and feeling super welcomed by the kids when you walk in the doors.
And Xavier, when you walk in those doors, now or even going back a few years, I mean, what's the energy for you? And is it something you look forward to every day? Or, how did the Boys and Girls Club, make you feel?
Well, to be honest, when I first went there, I didn't really like it. And I went there because my mom knew I needed to go somewhere safe besides my own home. Give me a place to eat, something to eat, a place to go. And I didn't like it. I wanted to go home. And they helped me learn how to read, and I started to get more adjusted to it, and then I left. I feel like when I first came back in 8th grade, it was amazing. The staff were always there for me, always ready to listen. Even today, they're always here to listen. They're always ready to talk to me whenever I need something. And it gives me, I feel happy when I walk through those doors every day. I can't always walk through those doors because I'm busy, but when I do, it's like my second home. It's like my family. I walk in there like I walk into my house, just happy and ready to talk to everybody. And I love them.
I mean, and I always notice too when I go into that club, it's the relationship the kids have amongst themselves too, because it's the staff, for the kids, but then the older ones, like Xavier, becoming the big brothers or big sisters of the littler ones. I mean, you probably see a lot of mentoring from the people inside, right?
You don't even know.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've heard kids, especially middle school. Middle school is such a tough time for kids, where they really feel like they kind of become reclusive and they have a hard time forming relationships. And so many of them now say, I have over 100 friends because everybody at the club is my friend. Yeah. And that they really have this, they're your own club, right? Mm-hmm. And they're all friends and they all support each other. And that's really part of the beauty of the club. I
would go as far to say that everyone in the club, we're not just friends, but we're more like a family. We look out for each other like we're each other's brothers and sisters. And the staff look out for us like we're their own children. It's an amazing place for any child, for any person.
If that Boys and Girls Club wasn't there, how do you think, what does it look like, do you think, for you or for some of these other kids?
Well, I know how it looked like for me. Before I even started a Boys and Girls Club, I was a horrible student. Never went to class, never did anything. And even after I joined Boys and Girls Club, freshman and sophomore year, I skipped a lot. I never went to school. I never went to class. But I think it was an initiative of a lot of these workers at Boys and Girls Club and a lot of people who come here that changed me and made me who I am today. Now, I won't say that I'm perfect, but I say the club has made me a better man than I am when I first started. And I can say there's a lot of kids who much rather spend their time at the club than hang out with some of their friends that they have that they know they shouldn't hang out with. And I feel like the club is like the barrier between us from being underprivileged kids who just become a statistic from being kids who become the anomaly and that become great, even though we're pushed down, because we're underprivileged. And I feel like the club is that ladder that helps us, that step stool that gets us above that wall and let us be great. And I feel like without the club, all of us wouldn't be who we are or who we could be today.
Wow, Mark.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Very nice. That's great that you've been able to turn it around from a place where most kids wouldn't be able to. Now you're looking forward to life, and it's going to be a good one, and you're going to help others. So everything's turned around, and you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. That's great.
Sophomore year, I only had 6 credits. Now I'm about to graduate in time. Thanks to the club. They helped me with my homework. They helped me with everything I need because they're here for me.
Wow.
So cool. And I guess probably when you finished reading that first book, probably felt pretty special.
Okay. It was Bar Goes on the Picnic.
It was what?
Bar's Picnic.
Okay, that was your first book.
I still have it in my room. Keep it with me wherever I go.
That's awesome. And Cathy, unbelievable what you guys are. I know it's not that you that created it. You're continuing a legacy of just a club that has just made a difference in this community for what, probably 27 years or so? I'm trying to remember.
We're celebrating 25 years this year.
25 years this year. And I remember the little house. I went over there with Deputy Chief Wolf when it was just a small little house and saw the plans for the big building. And we thought, are we ever really going to get that built? And we did. The community came out and serving. How many kids a year? Is it 2,500? How many kids a year?
We serve about 2,500 kids a year and about 500 a day. 500
a day. And without that club, who knows what's going on? And Xavier's one of those examples. But Xavier, you know what now is called? Do you listen to Fuzz? Do you and all your friends at Central High listen to Friday with the Fuzz?
I would like to say we would, but we don't.
You say we're not big with the high school?
You got to join Fuzz Nation.
Oh, really?
My gosh! All right, we're gonna get you a hat. We're gonna get you a hat. Fuzz Nation.
I love hats.
You love hats? All right,
It's a fuzzy hat.
So now it's called Chief Chat, which I ask you questions, and you just have to first thing that pops into your head. There's nothing hard, no trick questions, no math, no science, just things about you.
Tomato.
What's that?
Tomato.
Tomorrow?
Tomato. Tomato.
Oh, tomato, yes.
Just like that.
Dream job. You might have already told us that, but what's your dream job?
Artist.
An artist.
Besides the nonprofit.
Okay. What are you especially good at? What's your best talent?
Dancing.
Dancing.
Wow.
All right.
We're on Facebook Live, you know. You could perform.
Now, when you dance, I'm going to ask you my dancing question. When you dance, do you generally clap more or snap more?
Neither.
We don't clap or snap anymore.
Maybe that's a generational thing. You probably got that, right? I think you're more about hands above your head.
No,
Absolutely.
My aunts are from the 90s, my grandma's from the 50s, 60s, 70s. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more of a snapper, I think. What's one country you would like to visit?
Japan.
Japan. All right. And finally, you can meet anyone for lunch. They could be living or dead. The person you would just love to spend an hour with and pick their brain.
My mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Man, this kid's amazing.
She's proud of you now, I'll tell you that.
Oh,
I know she is.
Yeah. And Brad checks in on Facebook Live to say, truly a humble, good young man. Wish him only the best. So
Thank you,
good to have
Brad.
our listeners chiming in on Facebook Live saying good things too.
And Xavier's one amazing kid of thousands we have here in Elgin, and the Boys and Girls Club does the best they can to serve as many as they can. They always need some help, but man, it's humbling when you talk with kids like this. Sometimes you talk to kids, you think, oh, this next generation is a mess. It's probably what the generation before us said about us. And then you meet people like Xavier, and you say, you know what, we're in really good hands.
I personally feel every generation says the next generation's a mess.
Exactly right. Exactly. But you're going to help change that. So Xavier, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for everything you've done. And I tell you, I guarantee you just inspired Fuzz Nation with your words.
Thank you for having me on the show, everybody.
We can't let you get too far away. You're going to have to check in with us every once in a while and keep us updated.
I'm always ready to come down here and talk to you guys.
Sounds great.
Thank you. And Cathy, for everything you do with the Boys and Girls Club, you're amazing. I know your executive board is fantastic, and you're killing it. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. We'll see you back here in a few hours. We'll have an open forum in the 1 o'clock hour today.
Perfect.
All right.